Today, we're going to find the New York Jets an elite edge rusher to pair with Carl Lawson. A wide receiver one is going to be in the mix, and a free agent safety is being brought in to MetLife Stadium. This is Fixing the New York Jets in 10 minutes. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? This is Luke from Play Like a Jet, and I've been looking forward to this video. 10 minutes attacking the offseason. How would I address the New York Jets if I were Joe Douglas? There's been a lot of opinions online and on Twitter, on YouTube. The Jets have to be aggressive offensively. They have to take offensive players at number 4, at number 10. Some other people saying they have to attack the trenches with the O-line and the defensive line edge position with the number 4 and 10 picks. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to show you there are multiple ways to skin this cat, and this is how I would attack the offseason. Starting in free agency, here's the guys I would get rid of. Off the bat, Greg Van Roten, Ryan Griffin, and Chuma Edoga, they are gone. They offer nothing. They're not even good depth pieces at this point of their careers, so I'm getting rid of them. It frees up $7.5 million in cap space. That's a huge bonus for the Jets, and will take them to over $60 million as we head into free agency. And now that we're here, the first thing that I'm doing in free agency is signing Marcus Williams, the safety who's been spending his time down in New Orleans. He is an incredible free safety. The range is off the charts. We're signing him to a 4-year, $52 million contract. What do I like about him? I just mentioned it. It's the side-to-side athleticism. He's an eraser. He makes these bad plays go away. You see the numbers from PFF on the screen. 80-plus grade, 2 interceptions. He can do it all. Perfect fit for the Jets in this single high safety. And as the tape rolls here, have a look at the range. He goes from the right-hand side numbers all the way across, screaming to the opposite sideline here, makes a play on the ball for the pass breakup. He is Marcus May on steroids. Again, another clip against the Eagles. Look at the sideline from too high shell, gets Smith out of bounds, does a phenomenal job. I think this guy would be a perfect fit on the back end of a Robert Saleh defense. He wants to play more too high. He can do that. He wants to fall into that cover 3 shell. Marcus Williams is the perfect fit. And at $13 million, he's incredible value too. Next is a trade, guys. I am trading for a wide receiver. I know a lot of people want one at 10. I'm not a huge Garrett Wilson fan, particularly that high. I don't know if I'd really get into Drake London with some of the injuries there. Burks is my wide receiver 1. I've left him off. Instead, I'm attacking the position via trade, and I'm going for Amari Cooper from the Dallas Cowboys. You can see it on screen. I'm trading Amari Cooper for a 2023 second-round pick. That's effectively a third, and also a 2022 fourth-round pick. I think that's great value. He only accounts for $16 million for the cap. Look at the route running, the way he beats the corner off the break. Great job adjusting in the end zone. Here on a double move, the skinny post, a fantastic job getting free. He's averaged 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns throughout his 7-year career. He, paired with the likes of Elijah Moore and Corey Davis, gives the Jets an incredible tandem. And if you throw Braxton Berrios in the mix, that's a top 10 wide receiver unit in the NFL. We're trading for Amari Cooper. Pass catchers are the flavor of the day here in free agency. I'm locking up David Njoku next. And the reason I'm doing so is because the Jets are desperate for talent at tight end. We're signing Njoku to a 2-year, $17 million deal. You're looking in that range of $8.5 million per. And you can see last year, a steady year for Njoku. 475 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's an athletic tight end. He isn't the greatest fit, but look at the athleticism. He isn't going to be that Y inline tight end. He's more that move type. On crossing routes, he's going to be able to separate with his speed. You saw it against the Chiefs. The ability to break tackles on this clip that you can see on the screen. He gives you a home run threat from the tight end position the Jets really haven't seen. I think he'd be a good fit, but keeping in mind, the Jets still need that inline tight end, and that's coming later in the video. Next up is linebacker. It's still a huge need for the Jets, and Foye Oluokun is the guy that I'm targeting. In a lot of ways, this is similar to the Jarrad Davis move last year. You're banking on athleticism. He's got familiarity with the scheme. He's played with the Falcons and Old Brick in the past, and he's coming off a year with a ton of tackles. Athleticism, has the ability in pass coverage, is good in the screen game, something the Jets struggle with massively. And while I don't think linebacker is as big a need as some people think for the Jets, it's great to get a guy who can be dynamic, a 3-down linebacker, and affect the game with an interception like this. Dynamic player. You're taking a chance on upside. You're not paying him a whole lot of money. Yes, it's a 3-year deal. You can get out of it after a year and a half. I think Oluokun would be a great fit for the New York Jets. Tidying up free agency, we're keeping 3 guys, and they are all offensive players. Braxton Berrios, the Jets need to bring him back. I know there's been reports he want $9 million. I am not touching that. I'm giving Berrios somewhere in the range of $5 to $6.5 million. If he doesn't accept it, we move on, we pivot, and we look to draft a receiver in the third round. But right now, I'm bringing back Braxton Berrios. And then I'm bringing him two of his offensive linemen. LDT did a great job solidifying the right guard spot after the trade with the Kansas City Chiefs. He comes back as competition. Whoever we draft in that position, I think they need to have an extra body in that room. And then also Morgan Moses. George Fant has had injuries in the past. He had a really good 2021. He was almost an elite left tackle. You've got Mekhi Becton coming back. It's very well known what his injury past and how he struggled to get on the field the last year and a half. He solidifies the position. He gives you depth. He gets rid of that question mark coming into the draft, and he doesn't force you into making a particular move. So that's free agency for the New York Jets. It's draft time, and with the number 4 pick, I am taking Kayvon Thibodeaux, the edge out of Oregon. He is the best athlete in the 2022 draft. And the untapped potential is what has to excite you. His length, his strength, his explosion off the ball. You mix that with the rip and the hand placement and some of the dip you see around the corner. It's exciting tape. You love to see the potential of an edge rusher and just that physique and what he could be in the NFL. There's definitely a Jadeveon Clowney comp there for me. You can see it, the way he comes off the ball, his ferocity, the way he attacks the offensive lineman. He needs to improve his hand placement. He needs to improve some of his counters. But the reason he hasn't is because he hasn't needed them. That's what happens when you're the biggest, strongest, fastest, and longest athlete on the field every single snap. Thibodeaux is going to be a perfect combination with Carl Lawson and make the Jets defensive line one of the best in the NFL. All right, number 10 pick. Could go wide receiver. Definitely a chance they could go tackle. I don't think so here, considering I think the drop-off after Ike and after Neal is pretty strong. Well, I'm going to do something unthinkable. I am taking Derek Stingley and I'm doubling down on defense. You're not going to like this. I understand it. The Jets are getting an elite corner. And in my opinion, the best cornerback and man cornerback since Jalen Ramsey that's come out of the NFL draft. This kid was phenomenal as a true freshman. His tape in 2020 was just as good. And people will reference the injuries. Think of it this way. Stingley played 88% of his games through the first 2 years and then was really banged up last year. He has the foot injury, but overall, his fluidity in space, his movement skills, the first 3 games I watched, he gave up 1 completion. He is that caliber of player, and those 2 guys are going to change the Jets defense for a decade. Now it's time to please the people. We are going to draft some offensive players, and we're going to start with the Senior Bowl. Most valuable player throughout the practices, Zion Johnson, the guard out of Boston College. Look, I can't guarantee you he's going to be there at 35 come draft day, but right now that's around where he is on a lot of big boards, and you have to run to the podium and take that guy. I know we just renewed the contract of LDT in free agency. I talked about wanting competition. This kid starts, and I think could be an above average NFL guard from day one. He, Elijah Vera Tucker, Mekhi Becton, George Fant, and then even Connor McGovern in the middle. That's a really good and pretty young offensive line. I think they can do great things for a number of years to come, and I feel great about that group. Zion Johnson, he's the pick at 35. And now, honestly, this is my favorite pick. This is my favorite draft prospect at number 38. The Jets are taking Trey McBride. I'm going to be sitting here on draft day praying that McBride falls to number 38. Another guy who had a great week down in Mobile, but he's just a perfect fit for this system. I talked about Njoku when we signed him being more of a move tight end. McBride is the perfect complement. Wide tight end, inline blocker, incredible in the running game. The way he can down block, wham, he can do everything. You want him to climb to the second level, get to a linebacker, he can do that too. And then on crossing routes, his ability to make catches away from his frame. Trey McBride is the real deal. He and Zion Johnson give you impact starters on day 2, and you love to see that if you're Joe Douglas. The last pick I'm going to focus on now is the Jets' third rounder, and I'm dipping back into the pool at wide receiver, and I'm taking Justin Ross, a different body type. I've taken a lot of smaller guys, Amari Cooper, nice route runner, Elijah Moore, 5'8", 5'9", incredible route runner. You've got Corey Davis as the size guy. You can get out of his contract next year. Ross out of Clemson was incredible with Trevor Lawrence a couple of years ago, had the serious injury, but bounced back on a pretty bad team with pretty bad quarterback play in 2021. I'm excited to see what he could do with Zach Wilson in this offense. He doesn't need to step in and start, but he gives that wide receiver room incredible depth. He comes in as the wide receiver number 4 or 5, and I love that if I'm the New York Jets. So guys, that is it. 10 minutes fixing the New York Jets. We got Marcus Williams, Amari Cooper. We brought in David Njoku. We got Alua Kun to be in that linebacking room. And then in the draft, we made some big moves. Back-to-back defense, controversial, I know. We got Thibodeau, we got Stingley. Then we came back and we went offense times 3. We got Zion Johnson, Trey McBride, and finished off with Justin Ross. That's how I'm fixing the New York Jets. Let me know how you think I went in the comments, and go Jets.